Morning. So, part 2 is several days later because we had nothing but rain and it's still really wet. The sun has only just come out. It looks like it rained all night. But I have a few clumps, so I'm going to show you how, even when it's really soggy, to get the dirt off of the clumps, and then I'll show you how to trim them and get them ready to store. So, this is part 2 of the iris dig up in the backyard. So, here we go. Alright, there they are. I dug them out of that clump. And as you can see, this one, or maybe I think is rotten. That's something that happens when they get too wet. And this here, a little iris rot, I think might be unavoidable for a lot of these irises, but I'll show you what I'm going to do about that in a second. For now, I'm going to get the dirt off, and since it's all soggy and muddy, and I mostly want it to go back in that hole, this is not going to be fun, but it's a little easier if it's drier. But I'm impatient, I can't wait. I want to finish this project so we can move on to the next project. So, I'm going to set the camera down. Alright, I had to get my glove on. Okay, so, can you see this? It's really easy. You just sort of shake it. Okay, this part right here, I'll have to put it down. This part right here, I think is rotten, but it's okay because that's what we call the mother. These are the daughters. These daughters are what are going to be producing flowers and stuff next year. So you can see these are all the roots. It's gnarly looking under there. And then those are the leaves sticking straight up. Okay? So I'm going to finish shaking dirt off and putting it back in the hole, and then we'll come back. Okay, so these are all the irises that I'm going to clean up today. I'm going to show you the process of cleaning up one, and then I'll show you what they'll look like when I'm all done. I'm going to have to set the camera down and then try to keep an eye on it so that my hands are free. So it'll be tricky, but we can do it. Okay. Okay. So what you're going to need are a pair of scissors, really sharp scissors that you don't care about getting dirty, but that you've cleaned with Clorox wipes or something similar. Okay, so here we go. Alright. So you can see it looks kind of strange, doesn't it? This is the mom. These are the daughters. This is where, right here, where there was a flower. So what we want to do is we want to trim these leaves so that there's 6 to 8 inches or so still of leaf. You can trim this off much lower. And then it's just a lot more easy to handle. The only reason to do this is, well, there's two. If you think it looks better, then you might do it. But also if you're transplanting them, it just makes it so they're not as top heavy. And so then when you plant it again, the wind isn't going to knock it over like this. You know, it's more likely to stay put. That's the point of it. It doesn't hurt the plant, obviously. So you can do that whether you're transplanting or not. Yeah. So, okay. Get some more of that dirt off. Now, if I was going to divide these, I would take a really sharp, clean knife. I don't even know if I would divide. Yeah, I guess you could. You just cut this mother off and you would end up with 2 good-sized daughters that would be mothers next year. And then a smaller one that would probably not flower next year, but might flower the year after that. Can you see that? So this is the smaller one, and this is the bigger one here. Okay, so this is what it looks like. What you want to try to do, you can either go just all on a diagonal this way, but you want to cut all the leaves on a diagonal. And aesthetically, I think it looks nice if you make it look kind of like a fan. So you cut up toward the middle and then cut down on that side. So it creates this sort of inverted V. This guy I'm just going to trim down here. And come over here and you do the same thing. And then down. Up. And down. And that's it. That's all you have to do. Okay? So, that's all. Okay, this is what they look like. So it's that same pile. Cut up. I divided some of them. Some of them divided themselves. And then I trimmed all of them. See? Still got plenty of nice healthy roots. And that's going to be really important for transplanting them later. So, one of the neat things about irises, and I imagine there are probably some hybrids or something where this isn't true, but so far in my experience, once you do this, you can put them someplace dry and dark, and they will keep for a year, sometimes longer, and then you plant them, and then when you plant them, they might not bloom that first year, but they can, again, they might. But what will happen is the plant will seal these leaves where I've cut it, it'll self-seal, and it just sort of goes dormant. And they'll stay dormant until you put them back out in the sunshine and give them some water and put the roots in the soil. So I'm hoping that all of the irises survive being in some place dry and dark. I have fruit boxes from the grocery store that I'm going to be putting them in, and then they'll stay in a garage either for the whole winter or until we buy a house. It just depends on what the weather is like when we finally find a house and buy it. I might want to just keep them in a garage for the winter and then plant them in the spring and just have to see what happens. We might get some to bloom and we might not, but the next year they'll definitely bloom. So anyways, that's what you do. And then you can either plant this. So if you were going to plant this, it doesn't go real deep. These roots, you want to dig your hole, set it down, and then hold it so that the rhizome, this part right here, is at the same level as the dirt around. And then fill in the dirt around these roots so the roots are doing their thing under the ground, but then you still want to be able to see this top after you cover the roots. So you want to still be able to see the top of the rhizome once the roots are covered, okay? Because this just sits on the top, basically. It's not in the ground, it's on top, okay? And that's how it's supposed to be. So if you were going to do this yourself and plant it, I think I'll link to better videos for actually the how-to process, because the purpose of these videos is just to document what we're doing to move our garden. It's not necessarily a how to do it, because I don't know how much of what we're going to do is actually going to work. So anyway, thanks for watching. Have a good day.